All right, guys, the Utah Jazz get a nice win against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Not an easy task because the Wolves swept them last year. Let's talk about it. It's the Hoops Nerd Show. All right, guys, before we get started, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you want to join the channel, just hit the button below. I would appreciate it. All right, let's talk about the Wolves first. The Wolves are a team. Last year, they beat the Jazz 3 times. They swept the Jazz, actually. And so this wasn't exactly an easy task. Losing 3 times to a team is not just a coincidence. And so Utah came into this game with something to prove, and they did. But there's a lot to be excited about with this Timberwolves team. There's a lot of players with promise and talent, and I think that this team is on the verge of kind of figuring itself out. They at one point this year, and they've gone on a 4-game losing streak now at this point. But before the losing streak, they were had won 5 of their last 6 of their last 7, something like that. So they're one of those teams that are figuring themselves out, and we talked about this before the season started. I did a Minnesota Timberwolves preview, and I thought this team would be better than people are giving it credit for, and they have been. But the major reason is that Anthony Edwards is taking that step, and he looked awesome tonight. Even though they lost, I felt like Anthony Edwards really showed that he's a guy that can be great for them. Tonight, Edwards was 7 for 16 from the field, 4 for 8 from 3. He really was shooting it well. 5 assists, 18 points. But I liked it. He only had 2 free throw attempts, which is a little interesting to me because I think one of his biggest skills is just his athleticism and able to rise and dunk and score at the rim. So it was interesting to watch that. Tonight was the return of Patrick Beverley, which he actually had a pretty good night. 8 for 11 from the field. He also taunted Royce O'Neal. Apparently he thinks Royce O'Neal is short, and also yelled at Rudy Gobert and got a technical foul. Didn't really affect things, but hey, that's Patrick Beverley, and that's what he does. There's some, KarlAnthony Towns is really probably the best player, at least at this point, although I think you could argue that Anthony Edwards might be the better player already, but KarlAnthony Towns really is just an electric shooter. I don't know if he's really all that. I mean, he can score at other levels on the floor as well, and I think that's the thing you want from KarlAnthony Towns if you're the Wolves, is what else can you get out of Towns outside of just being an elite shooter? And he does have a, dribble drive game. He has a back to the basket game, but for the most part, where his offensive game is like elite 3-point shooting, which is great. It's really great, but he's not an elite defensive center. He's just not. But I feel like he's trying harder this year. I don't know. KarlAnthony Towns is one of those guys that I don't know quite what to think. Is it that he needs to have better pieces around him, or is it he not really a winning player? I don't know. Kind of feel like at some point we're going to see KarlAnthony Towns on another team, and and I don't know if that'll be in 3 years, if it'll be 1 year, if it'll be in 5 years. But we might get a chance to see, was it really him or was it someone else? I don't know. But tonight, Towns was pretty solid. I mean, his shooting was great. 7 from 11 from the field and 2 for 4 from 3, 22 points. Also 5 assists for him and 7 rebounds. So nice offensive night from him. You just wonder, can you get something else from him? That's really all I got to say about the Wolves. I really like them. Every time I watch Jaden McDaniels play, it hurts my feelings. Tonight, his numbers weren't good, and he's had a little bit of a dip this year. But he's a guy that really should have been on the Jazz, honestly, and it hurts my feelings every time he has a good game. But tonight, 2 for 10 from the field, 1 for 7. That's just not very good. And he's been on the bench for the last 10, 15 games. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. There were reasons he dropped in the draft, but his rookie season was pretty impressive for Minnesota. It's too bad that he's kind of taken a dip. The sophomore slump is real, right? It's real. All right, let's talk about the Utah Jazz. And I've got this new equipment, guys, with my new monitor. I can put the chat right here, and it's nice. Kavambor, 18. Mitchell did not want to lose tonight. No, he did not. And let's just start there with Donovan Mitchell, who is absolutely all NBA. I think he's creeping into top 10 player territory, if not already. Right now, the level he's playing right now, he is top 10 player. He won Western Conference Player of the Week last week, and if he keeps it up, he's going to do it again this week. Tomorrow is a big game against the Philadelphia 76ers. So if he can do that against the Sixers, the lights are going to be a little bit brighter now that the Jazz have won 5 in a row. If they can start winning more, you start grabbing attention. And if Mitchell keeps putting up these types of numbers, it's incredible. And he just did it in an array of ability. I mean, his ability to, do the pull-up three, spot up threes, but really it's that pull-up three that he's hitting where he just rises and fires. It's unguardable. I mean, he had a few shots tonight where I just don't know if you're the other team what you do against Donovan Mitchell. I don't know what you do, because when he can just pull up from three, how do you guard him? Because he's so fast. And I loved his comments after the game. He said, Holly Rowe, who is amazing, by the way. Holly Rowe is just fantastic. I love Holly Rowe. She's amazing. But asks him about what he's thinking when he's got people in front of him and how he can just get by anyone. And he said, I don't really think about the first guy. I worry about the second guy because I can almost always get past the first guy. And then what I do in that second level is where he's growing. And first off, I love that quote, because Donovan Mitchell's ability to just blow by his man, and then he's worried about that secondary defender. That's what makes him incredible. And that's why he keeps getting better. It's because he blows by his guy. And then it's that, we've talked about this for years. It's what makes Harden so good, is when you blow by that guy and you're going to the rim, you've got that trio of decisions. Do I pass? Do I shoot the floater or layup? Or do I throw the lob? Or like the corner three, the lob to the Gobert, or do I take the shot? And Donovan Mitchell has just figured it out. He's absolutely just figuring it out every game, and we're watching him evolve. And because that pull-up three is falling like it is, he's unguardable. He's unguardable because he's also got that mid-range pull-up. He can drive to the rim. He's got a floater game that he's gotten under control, and he takes it in a way he knows he's going to make it. Whereas 2 years ago, we were watching him take floaters that he just wasn't making. Now it just seems like he's just got it down. It's unbelievable. Mitchell has just figured that offensive game out, and he's been playing better defense this year. We've seen his steals go up. He is making plays in transition. Tonight, he had a few plays in transition and defensive plays where he knocked the ball loose, all sorts of things like that. It was impressive. Let's just see. 2 assists for Donovan Mitchell tonight. He didn't really need to. 0 steals, but steals don't always count for deflections, and he had them, and it's nice to see. 5 rebounds for Donovan Mitchell. 4 turnovers tonight, which is less than last. What was interesting about last game against Cleveland, he had 7 turnovers. So 4, you'll take it. Especially, 4 turnovers sounds like a lot, but when you've got the ball in your hands, when you're taking 23 shots like Mitchell did and making 14 of them, Donovan Mitchell was 60, 41, 100 tonight. Just an absolutely ludicrous line. JT Buckets Wardell, member for 8 months. My man, JT. Can we talk about Bojan playing some of the best defense of his career? Yes, Bojan was nice tonight. Let's talk about Bojan a little bit. But I just want to give Donovan Mitchell his credit. Donovan was amazing. He is the thing that stirs this Jazz pot on offense, and his ball movement. I mean, it's interesting, those 2 assists, but I felt like he was moving the ball, and I don't think anyone on the team is going to argue with what he was doing. And when you're shooting 60% from the field and 41% from three, I want you shooting that ball as often as you can. I was thinking about it tonight, Quinn Snyder sat Rudy Gobert because of foul trouble, which I just hate. I personally hate it. It doesn't make sense to me. But there was a benefit to it that I really liked, is the Jazz had that 5-out lineup tonight, and they played it for a pretty good amount of time. And what was cool is that it did pretty well. And kind of speaking to JT's point, Bojan Bogdanovic had a pretty good defensive night tonight. Was he great? No. He still gets blown by a lot of people. I think Bojan can guard people because he can use his size. That's why I think Bojan did a good job tonight in his defense, is because he can actually use his body against KarlAnthony Towns. And there were times where he guarded Towns pretty well. Although, if you look at Towns' numbers, he was 7 for 11 from the field. So I don't know how great he was at it, but he can do that. And I think that's one way Bojan can defend, is just using his size, because he's a pretty big guy. He's 6'8", 6'9", something like that. He's a big guy. So if he can use his size, then I think he actually has value on defense. Whereas when he's using quickness, he does not. Just flat out does not. So tonight, I think, you can see why Bojan was guarding KarlAnthony Towns, who's for the most part just a 3-point shooter. And so Bojan can kind of hold and stay on him for pretty well. And then offensively, Bojan was great tonight, and that's what you expect from Bojan. You're not expecting like amazing defense from Bojan. You're expecting offense. And tonight, 8 for 14 from the field, which is nice. 4 for 9 from 3, 44%. Those are just elite offensive efficiency numbers. Just great. He was 1 for 1 from the free throw line. He had 5 rebounds, 21 points. So Bojan had a really nice night. I will say it was interesting watching that 5-out lineup tonight. That was some of my most favorite thing from this game, outside of Donovan Mitchell just dominating, was just seeing a 5-out lineup with Rudy Gay at the 5. The benefit of Quinn Snyder resting players, unnecessarily for foul trouble, was that we got to see the 5-out lineup. And in the first half, they struggled to rebound a little bit. But part of the thing, I watched that and I saw people on Twitter kind of complaining about it. I'm like, are you kidding? Get out of here. What are you talking about? Did you watch what was going on? I saw open 3, like 2 open 3s for Rudy Gay. I saw open 3 for Jordan Clarkson. And that was kind of the thing I actually thought from that first, because you had a stint in the first half with the 5-out and you had one in the second half. The first half, no one made a shot, but they were getting good shots. So I just kind of feel like, well, there was a little bit of deficiency on the other end with rebounding, which, by the way, I wish Bojan was a little bit better, but he did fine. Rudy Gay, honestly, I felt like a lot of those balls were just kind of bad bounces. The thing I would have said in the first half with the 5-out lineup is I would have liked to see more driving to the rim, because what's the big benefit with the 5-out lineup is that there's no one in the paint. So someone like Donovan Mitchell can just drive to the rim. And so when you've got that 5-out lineup, it's not like the Jazz just took threes every time. And it's like, well, drive to the rim because there's no one there. And if you've got an edge on your guy, go, And so someone like Donovan Mitchell could absolutely feast with that. And I think he did a little bit tonight, honestly, because in the second half, it got a lot more run and it did pretty well. I don't know the numbers right now, but it did pretty well. And that was nice to see. You guys keep mentioning the threes. There were a ton tonight. It was great. Did you see Jared Butler hitting 2 threes tonight? That was nice to see. Jared Butler was 2 for 3 from 3 tonight. But let's see. The Jazz as a team took 54 threes and made 25 of them. They were 46% as a team. That is amazing. And if you're a Jazz fan, you love that. That's what the Jazz do. They shoot the 3, and they've started to shoot it efficiently. I don't know if it was the new Wilson basketball. I don't know if it was just slumps or what. But this Jazz team has really figured out their shot. Like, they're just hitting shots at a high level. Royce O'Neal had a monster night just in terms of efficiency. He was 2 for 2 from 3, 3 for 3 from the field. I loved his 6 rebounds and 7 assists. Royce O'Neal tied Joe Ingles for most assists tonight, and I love it. I love Royce O'Neal. He's like freaking Dennis Rodman with a 3-point shot at times. He's not as good a rebounder as Rodman, obviously, but he plays the same way where he just does all the little things to help everyone win, and he moves the ball. He's got one thing that's kind of cool about Royce, and you see it 3 for 3 tonight, but he is hyper efficient from 2 this year. He just is awesome in transition and driving to the hoop. So Royce O'Neal deserves more credit than he gets. And he played good defense tonight. So there's just not a lot else you can expect from Royce. He had 9 points. He was a +8. We got to mention Rudy Gobert, who was just his solid, awesome self tonight. 10 rebounds, 13 points, and he was just dominant. He had a little bit of foul trouble, so that's why his numbers are a little down. But it was just good Rudy tonight. And it's always interesting when Rudy plays against the Wolves because of Towns stretching him out, and Rudy still finds a way to be super dominant. Zintas, James, Rodman is a swear word. Yeah, but I mean, if he was on the Jazz fans would love him, Although he was a kind of crazy guy. I don't think he would have liked to play in Utah. Joe Ingles had a perfect night, 4 for 4 from the field, 2 for 2 from 3. It's nice to see Joe Ingles being efficient, and this is what we were hoping for him. Let's see. Zinta says, go wash your mouth out. Maybe I will. Maybe I can get, well, no, we'll talk about this. Jared Butler hasn't earned minutes. Jordan Besserell. Not really, but at the same time, how is he going to if he doesn't play? That's all we'll talk about that. But he was 2 for 3 from 3 tonight. So that's nice to see. And he looked a little bit like he's figuring out the workings of the offense. All right, let's just talk about it 1 minute about that. Jared Butler is coming into Quinn Snyder's system, and it is a very strict system. Certain players are given freedom within the system, and that's up to Quinn. And I don't always understand why some players do and some players don't. But Jared Butler, he is under the rule set. There's different rules for different players under Quinn. We have to remember that. Certain players are allowed to break rules and some are not. And it's kind of based off of who Quinn wants to play and who doesn't. That's all I'll say about that. Well, who am I kidding? I'll say whatever the hell I want. This is my channel. But Jared Butler is one of those players that Quinn Snyder requires to be perfect in every second of the game he is on the floor. And he has to fit in with the system. And so to do that, he is still trying to figure out the system. Tonight, he looked like he was kind of understanding the workings of it and playing within it and moving the ball. He had a turnover that looked like he was uncomfortable, but he made 2 threes within it. And I felt like they were threes within the offense. And going 2 for 3 from 3, that's really nice. So there's our 1 minute of Jared Butler talk tonight. Mike Conley had 2 weird turnovers at the beginning of the game tonight. It was really strange. Like it was like really lazy turnovers. He turned it around, which was nice to see, but 10 points, 5 assists, 2 rebounds for Mike Conley, and 2 for 4 from 3. So efficiency for Mike Conley, which is nice to see. And we talked about Joe Ingles. His efficiency was fantastic. Joe Ingles led the team in plus minus, actually, just looking at this. That's by like a big margin. Plus 32. So that's pretty awesome. I think Rudy Gay having a plus 18 for this game is really interesting and a good sign for that 5-out lineup, because a good chunk of Rudy Gay's minutes were at center tonight. And so that was fun to see. And I actually think that 5-out lineup is a big deal. And to see them play that lineup and have it go pretty well is pretty exciting. Let's see. Jordan, the GOAT Best Rules asking, will Conley play tomorrow? Probably not, but we'll see. Conley played 23 minutes tonight, so maybe he can play 20 minutes tomorrow. Reese Peck, welcome to Rookie. Hey, we got someone who joined the channel. Welcome, Reese Peck, to Rookie. We got a rookie with potential like Jared Butler. Reese just needs time on the floor to get some buckets and prove his value. Welcome to the channel, Reese. But anyways, what I want to say tonight that I thought was really interesting, I feel like, we've got Bojan stands in the comments. We've got JC stands in the comments. JC, by the way, had a really nice night tonight overall. 6 for 14 from the field, 6 for 13 from 3, 46%. He had 18 points, and I felt like he played really efficient and within the offense. He was awesome. So it's really nice to see JC just play really well. I actually don't think the Jazz should trade JC. Like, as much as some people on this channel think I want that, I actually think JC provides value, because, there's guys you'll talk about like, oh, maybe the Jazz can go out and get Malik Beasley, or maybe they can go out and get, what's the guy on the, well, Karis LeVert, I would say, is a better player, but I don't think he's that much better than JC, especially this year. I just feel like there's a lot of guys that if you traded JC, they don't really do anything better than JC does. And I feel like he provides a lot of value as a scorer. And when he's playing within the offense and doing spot-up threes and doing what he does, it's awesome. And tonight, that was great from JC. What I did notice tonight, and I don't want this to sound like I'm being negative. If you Bojan fans want to be mad at me, go ahead. But I felt like what we saw tonight from Bojan was classic efficiency from Bojan. But when I saw that 5-out lineup and I saw how good Rudy Gay looked at the center, it makes you think, what would that lineup look with a better defender in Harrison Barnes next to Rudy Gay, or someone like Larry Nance, who can shoot 40% from 3, 36 to 40% from 3, and be a bigger rebounding athletic defender on the other end. Makes you think that could look really good, because Bojan did a pretty solid job tonight. There were times where he got smoked, but overall I'd say Bojan did pretty good, and it just makes you think, if you had someone who was a little bit better at that type of role, defending, being kind of a big man that can rebound in a 5-out lineup, makes you think maybe that's worth doing. Doesn't mean Bojan's not good. What Bojan is a very good offensive player, and there are teams out there that might be interested, especially if you attach something to it. But I think Bojan straight up for certain guys really works. So I think that was something that I thought was interesting tonight, that when you see that lineup, maybe that's a lineup you think if the Jazz think that that's a lineup that can help them get to the finals, then why wouldn't you do that? You know, Zintis, you want the Jazz to get Harrison Barnes? Yes, I would be so happy. I would be so happy if the Jazz got Harrison Barnes. Guys, Harrison Barnes is a really, really good player. He is a really nice player. He's the best player on the Kings, that's for sure. And he's having a nice year. And he is a great locker room guy. He is a great, I mean, on court, off court, just great fit. And he would fit like a glove on this Jazz team and allow them some more versatility like they have with Rudy Gay. So I 100% Zintis. X marks the spot on Harrison Barnes, but I just think he might be too good to be able to get, honestly. So, guys, I think that's all we got tonight. I don't really have anything more to say. It was a nice win against a Minnesota Timberwolves team that I think is pretty good. And so it's nice to see the Jazz do really well. All right, let's give a shout out to our All-Stars. These are the guys that make things happen. Let's give a shout out to Baby Elliott Matson. X marks the spot for Zintis. Jordan the Goat Besserell. Ryan Perry, the legend. Joshua Hansen, the Danish Destroyer. And one Anton Warren. Ezekiel Raisibe, the man from down under. JT Buckets Wardell. Austin R. Grant, editor extraordinaire. Let's see. Eric C's, the C stands for champion. Donald Schooley, schooling all of us. DW to CB. Darren Williams to Carlos Boozer. Jorge Arizaga, mi amigo de abajo. Lee Christensen, driving the lane. Justin Time, Justin Ty H. Patrick Akubo, the connoisseur. Robert Hall of Fame. And DW Jazz going all the way. Guys, if you like the channel, share it on the places where people might want to watch it. Oh, we got 90 people watching tonight. How about that? That's pretty good. Welcome to everyone. Why don't you join the channel, guys? Be a rookie. And then you can comment and make and derail me like I am right now. But you guys are amazing. Like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I haven't been putting these up on the SLC Dunk podcast because I don't know if it really, I don't know. I don't know if people are really worried about that anyway. So we're just going to go YouTube. And I guess if someone messages me for that, then we'll see. But for now, we're just going YouTube and live streams. And it's fun. And that's why I'm going to do it. And I'm going to try to do a Rudy Gobert breakdown of the water bottle. So look for that to come soon. Anyways, guys, like and subscribe. You guys are awesome. I will talk to you tomorrow.